Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Trevor. Today we're looking at the exciting subject of how to open the third eye. So 7 ways to open the third eye, which is actually probably about 15 or 20 ways to open the third eye. So firstly, when approaching the subject and you were to receive a vision, you would see something like a peacock and its tail feathers spreading out. So this would symbolize realization of the self-realization. So that symbolism is showing you, well, it's time to awaken the third eye and start to realize yourself, start to realize the truth. Firstly, step number 1, meditation. So I've covered this in a previous post. If you haven't seen it, go back and check on it. So meditation really is a key to awakening the third eye. It's not to say that any of these steps followed guarantee that your third eye will awaken, but if done correctly, energy follows thought, so the third eye will open. So when we look at meditation, there is that entering within, going into that silent space, and when we go and focus one-pointedly within where the third eye is situated, that energy starts to awaken the third eye. Now the nice thing about meditation is the longer we do this, the more sustained our growth is. That level that we reach in meditation is more permanent. It's not a temporary fix that we're opening our third eye. We're doing this for something that's long lasting. So please check on my post on meditation if you want to find out more about it. And in meditation, or we could have it as a extra point, is visualization. So that aspect of meditation, when we are visualizing, is also going to trigger one's clairvoyance, going to trigger the visuals. Then we come to another one which is often practiced, especially in the East, which is chanting. So specifically chanting mantras, sacred words, certain vibrations to create a hum within the brain, and that energy, that vibration starts to stimulate the third eye and the pineal gland, and it allows one to awaken visions, it allows you to dream, it allows you to start seeing. And then we look at yoga. So these yogas are specifically to make you healthy, or to link you to spirit or to your higher consciousness. So yoga meaning you're yoking, you're creating that bridge, that connection, that channel of energy from your higher consciousness, and that is going to allow you to open the third eye. Now, there are specific yogas that can open a third eye or awaken one, and as we know in the East, even make people immortal, as it is with some of the masters. So you would want to look at a yoga that's going to allow you to be physically healthy, but a yoga that's really a breathing exercise that's going to awaken those energies along the spinal column and up into the brain and the third eye. And there are many such exercises, Pranayama and the Kriya yogas. In the days gone by, it normally was a master that needed to give you these breathing techniques for this breath work. These days it can be found on the internet, and it's in many books. So do look at it. It's one of the surest ways of tapping into psychic and spiritual energy. Now, quite a big subject. All of these are subjects on their own. Now we look at the subject of plants. So plants really can awaken the third eye almost instantly. So again, we're looking at the magnetism that the plants carry, the molecules that are actually magnetic. So when we consume plants for food or for medicine or for whatever purpose, it's the magnetic properties that stimulate, that magnetism that stimulates the energies within our body and in the brain to bring about either healing or many of the other effects, or even a spiritual awakening. So we know there are many plants that do this. Firstly, we think of the cactus that the Mayans and the Aztec and Inca used to use, peyote, and the longer cactuses, the San Pedro. These cactuses have been used for thousands and thousands of years, not only in the ancient Aztec world, but in the Inca world, but particularly the Mayans used to be masters at using plants. And here in the plant section we could also add in mushrooms. So mushrooms can also open the third eye. Yes, it's also for only a few moments, a couple of hours. There are different kinds of mushrooms, and yes, again, a subject totally on its own. When we look at the Maya actually had villages where they practiced Holy Communion through using mushrooms. You must also remember mushrooms were used all around the world, especially when other plant medicines weren't available. Mushrooms were used in all religions in the ancient past. So if you think of Holy Communion, you're supposed to go drink something and have a moment of Holy Communion where your psychic energies become magnetic and awaken, and it allows you to see into the spirit world and bring back that knowledge and that information that you need to synthesize into your life. So, and then more importantly, with all the plants, the king and queen of plants that can take one into God consciousness, we think of ayahuasca. And ayahuasca, really the vine, and then the DMT, dimethyltryptamine. So it's the dimethyltryptamine, where you only need a tiny amount that needs to touch into the brain centers to awaken one, to open the third eye to its fullest, or something close to that. So when we look in ancient times, especially through the Mayan Empire in Belize, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. So they used these plants in specific, the DMT plants. If they didn't have the plants, they would use the dimethyltryptamine from a frog. So they would take tiny secretions and they would ingest it or smoke it or mix it in some kind of a medicine, which would have very much the same effects as ayahuasca, sometimes probably even stronger, depending on how the brews were made. So the Maya knew they had a way to break through the matrix, to enter a state of higher consciousness, and they would use plants to do this. And it's a funny thing that in Christianity we have the same ritual, and it's called Holy Communion. And so you've got to think, why did we have these rituals in the ancient world and suddenly they were stopped? It's really food for thought, something to meditate on, that there was this force that went around the world to stop all these things. So also when it comes to the masters, they would prefer that we develop through meditation and through these other practices, that we don't need to rely on taking something to achieve those states or those higher states of consciousness. So, but what I do know is that the Mayans used dimethyltryptamine, as did the Aztec, in most of their ceremonies. Yes, there were those that used the mushrooms and all the others, but specifically it was the DMT. So this is quite a big subject, really. And then we look at the magnetism and blessing of a master. So what is this really? So if a master is in your presence and they touch your third eye, they have this magnetic, pranic, cosmic energy that emanates through their fingers, the touch of their hand, or from the third eye, which is called the eye ray of the master. So if they use the eye ray, there's an invisible ray that's shooting into your third eye. What it does is it opens one of the seals of the third eye, which allows you to start to see and perceive through the veil into the other world. So if we look at even the Hindus in India and the masters of India, they would initiate their students by tapping them on the chest or tapping them on the third eye or on the top of the crown chakra, and this energy alone was enough to magnetize a person and, just like the plants, create that magnetic energy that's going to open up those abilities, because it's really all about energy here. And So really the eye ray of the master is something exceptionally powerful, and they can do this seamlessly without anyone even knowing. And then also another way to open the wisdom eye, which many people don't realize, is hypnosis. So there are stories of people being hypnotized, having a good relationship with those that hypnotized them, and slowly through hypnosis giving those commands to the subconscious. And once those commands take root from the subconscious, the superconscious mind, it allows that automatic opening of the third eye and allowing one to see into the other world. I have done a post on psychic circles. So again, psychic circles, you have that energy of everyone in the group that allows you to see visions, if not on the first night, within 3 weeks of you joining a meditation class. So meditation, psychic circles, a really good way to develop with some rapid pace here and allow you to see into the spirit world. Now also another way that the third eye is able to open, and this is also not commonly known, it's what the Mayans looked out for. They were watchers of the night sky, and in particular they used to track comets that would come past planet Earth. So when a comet flies past planet Earth, it releases its cosmic dust that enters our atmosphere, and all those clairvoyants, all those souls that are sleeping but awakened, that energy alone can come through and start to awaken one. So it's also again a subject on its own, but this energy stimulates the psychic energies with cosmic energy, the third eye, the subtle bodies, and one naturally starts to awaken and see without effort. And this was one of the big things that the Mayans used to work with. Also another one, we're going on to number 9 now. It's also rare, but I would say you would need to put your own effort in for this to take place. So when we have extraterrestrials, they can seamlessly enter your dream matrix and use cosmic energy. It's almost like somebody's drilling into your head. But when you wake up and see this, you're not going to see a drill going into your head. You're going to see a unicorn. So when you see the horn of a unicorn touching your third eye, there is a swirling of cosmic energy, the brightest, beautiful colors that are entering. And there again, they're opening your third eye, and this is seen as a blessing, a gift. They're not going to just do it for anyone. They want to see that you are also putting effort in with your spiritual work. And then there's another one, number 10, which is studying. How will studying open the third eye? Everybody studies or has studied and their third eyes didn't open. But specifically, if you following a spiritual path and you're studying esoteric and spiritual and occult literature, and you're doing it on an everyday basis, almost as if you're feeding your soul, there will be a change of color in your aura. And remember the saying, when the student is ready, the master will appear. So as your aura illuminates with the work that you are doing, that study starts to change the color, especially around the head area, and it starts to illuminate with a golden yellow color, almost as if you have a halo around your head. So that is simply through studying and allowing your soul, that intuitive facet of your soul, to start opening. And through that ability, it also opens up the third eye, although in a much slower way, but with more permanent effects. And then another one, which is the ancient mystery schools. So what are these ancient mystery schools? Well, we look at Egypt, we look at Mexico, all through the Amazon and other places around the ancient world. There were these ancient mystery schools that one would enter, and they would teach you the meaning of life, all the secrets, esoteric and spiritual secrets of how to attain a level of awakening, some level of mastership in this life. And yes, so these mystery schools, most of them have disappeared, but they still do exist on our planet. There are various ones. You can go do a search. In America, there is the School of Astara, so it's astara.org. So these schools teach all these subjects, from meditation, and how to self-realize, how to discover yourself step by step, as if you had a master guiding you in your very own home. So I do recommend that you look into something like that and create a proper foundation spiritually, that your abilities start to unfold naturally. So imagine here that you are doing the yogas, that you are meditating, that you are studying. So your spiritual and psychic growth is going to be amplified, and you're going to enhance these abilities much quicker. You're not following one route, but you're combining quite a few routes, techniques to get to this point. And then there is the one that is practiced in India, which is devotion to a master. So these students follow a master, follow the master's teachings, do their meditations, and it's through being in the presence of this master in this ashram that your third eye can awaken, not only with the presence of your master, but with the combined work that is taking place. So yes, there are many other techniques of opening the third eye. I haven't mentioned them all. There could even be a disease such as cancer or an injury to the brain, and that can stimulate psychic happenings or spiritual awakenings, with there either being the pressure on the pineal gland, or and allow these abilities to awaken through even a negative process such as that. So there are many processes that God has given us to be able to break through the matrix, to be able to communicate with our ancestors, with the higher beings. It's our birthright. It's always been our birthright as souls on this planet, that there's that moment of holy communion for those that are unable to do it through meditation and breathing techniques. So just remember, I'm not recommending that one uses plants and different medicines. They are also only temporary. For the evening you will experience this and then it fades. So these are really used for initiatory processes, as they did in ancient times. It's not something that you're going to do all the time. And if we do delve into these, we should do it with a proper facilitator or shaman, or someone that knows how to conduct the work, so that it's in a safe environment. So as I said, there are many different techniques to awakening. The whole idea here is it's all about energy. Where's this energy going within you, within your thought process? How are you controlling your thoughts? And by doing one of these exercises, or a number of them, you will rapidly awaken your own inner wisdom eye and start seeing the truth into the spirit world and what has been hidden from humanity for so long. I hope you enjoyed this post.